I am free for half an hour, and I'm just going to be doing a very half-hour stream. So if this match goes longer, I won't be able to continue. Between Mastertan and the Cube of Reason. So it's the Crazyhouse World Championship Round 1. Let's try and learn something from Mastertan. He's one of the favourites to be a candidate in this year's Crazyhouse World Championship. He was a candidate in 2017 and in 2018. So he throws in a check, moves the knight out the way, develops his pieces, exchanges. So why does he exchange? Because if the queen comes out, maybe he would harass it. Okay, nice move from white, threatening knight takes c7, and a very nice lateral defense of using the queen. And already, white didn't defend the threat. He brings the queen out, check, gets a rook, takes it, and it's all over. Well, white resigns in this position. It's not quite all over. He does still have some escape squares. So game 2 we're waiting for, but it looks like the Cube of Reason is taking a look at the analysis. Which, yeah, it's strongly discouraged to do, basically. So, but he's obviously not familiar with the etiquette of it. But he's probably naturally wondering where he went wrong, but you just have to figure that out during the match. The Cube of Reason is playing a Sicilian, and hopefully Mastertan will give us a good illustration of why this Sicilian is not a good idea in Crazyhouse. And it's all about putting pieces targeting this c7 square. Because the queen is not a very good defender of the queen side. It's a good defender of the king, because I mean you don't want to sack your queen to patch up holes in your queen side. Okay, so this. So how is the Cube of Reason at standard chess? He seems to be mainly a variant player, but he hasn't played that many games. Okay, this is a dangerous move because you're getting your bishop out of. I mean, on here this is a weakness in the position, so you don't ever want to be distracted from this weakness. So this is a sort of not such a good idea in Crazyhouse. Okay, so here we see, but yeah, I guess he did this because he was wondering how to defend this square. Well, I think the best way of defending that square would be to have developed and castled. Berbil says in chat, who is the Cube of Reason? Is it? Can anyone play CWC? Yeah, well, Jan Lee had a very open attitude that anyone could enter in the Crazyhouse World Championship. He did win a qualifying match to play round 1. Mastertan, on the other hand, is a reputed player who's been a top 10 player in Crazyhouse for many, many years. He's from Australia, and so this is just like a warm-up round 1 match for one of the favourites to be a candidate. This is a sneaky little move, just deflect the bishop and then come in here. So yeah, this is not really a competitive match, but it's more like maybe an instructive match of the weaknesses that someone who doesn't know Crazyhouse is quite likely to is quite likely to encounter. And this is, and we see here playing c5 is a weakness because he creates a weakness on c7. This created a weakness on g7. In Crazyhouse, you have to be really aware of the weaknesses in your position, and here these are the two weaknesses. This bishop is overloaded. Legion Destroyer suggested knight c7 anyway, so why would you go knight c7 anyway? Let's have a look. So if you take, queen takes, you're losing two knights for the bishop. So why would that be a good idea? So it would be a good idea because then you could go pawn at g7. So you could go knight here, yeah, then pawn at g7, and notice that Black would only have knights in hand, and a pawn at g7, you can't defend that rook with a knight, so that pawn is taking that rook and getting a queen on the back rank, and there's no way to stop it. So actually, yeah, playing knight c7 first was also an interesting way of playing it. Yeah, so if you want more info about the Crazyhouse World Championship, this is slightly out of date info, but from the last Crazyhouse World Championship, you can see lots of in the front tab of that blog, there's stuff about the last Crazyhouse World Championship. If you look at the index of studies, there's lots of instructive content there. I just updated it today. Lots of stuff if you want to get good at Crazyhouse. Enjoy that. And also just check out my YouTube. Check out Jan Lee's YouTube. Obviously, Jan Lee is the former world champion. How many matches will be played? It's a best of 10. So it might go to 10, or they might decide to call today after 6 love. Just to quickly look at this game again. So interesting. So he grabs the pawn. Now, exactly, in standard chess, grabbing the pawn would be very dangerous because the rook would come in and there'd be lots of pressure on e5. And how about here? Here. So the thing is, you don't quite have this because, well, you do have this, but it's just a trade. So takes. He takes the bishop, notice, because the bishop's actually a very dangerous piece. It's hitting the weakness in black's position. Takes, and block. And now you see black is very safe. Its material is about equal. They removed the cross table. Yeah, so I can tell you, so Lichess has basically had a huge upsurge in people using the site, and so they've pared down temporarily while they're waiting to get new servers in. And so the new servers will come in, and everything will be back to normal, I'm sure. But just while they're getting the new servers in, they've taken away lots of the sort of the nice, the luxury items, as it were, that they thought they could save some disk space by getting rid of. So this stuff here, your list of friends in the bottom right-hand corner. So the cross table, the list of friends. I've noticed in studies, if you're looking at the opening database, you can't. The pop-ups in the opening database don't work quite like normal. Yeah, good to see you, Gingerbread Man. And also, hi there, Happiness Bunny. This is your next opponent, the winner of this match. Pethstein says, become a patron if you can. And Gingerbread Man says, will become a patron for sure once I get a job. Yeah, that's a sort of slight concern. I mean, I'm not quite well enough off, is the problem. So notice here, yeah, in this sort of position, you have to ask yourself whose attack is faster, because white is threatening quite a lot here with takes f7. So if black is going to do stuff, it has to all be with check, and he does. Okay, that went far too fast. But that's a sort of interesting position where you have to ask yourself whose attack is faster. This is quite interesting. So he defends. This is a good attack. This is nice play from the Cube of Reason, just hitting the weakness. But here, white had a decision. Can we go ahead with our attack? Let's see what the engine says. Engine says we can't go. A black's counterattack is too strong. Go rook e2. So rook e2 is a really nice move, actually. So both defending the weakness. Okay, but what happened is he went straight in for the attack, and it's check. So takes, and takes. And black had a pawn, knight, and rook. Now, you really want to do all checks, otherwise takes f7 is going to be nasty. So check. He even took here. So the point is he wants takes, queen, and he's basically saying pawn takes pawn, I can stay safe. I'm just going to check if that's true. So pawn takes bishop, queen takes queen. If you took the queen, yeah, this would still be dangerous. E takes f7. It's actually, yeah, okay. So black is winning, but it's king d8 is an important move then to stay safe. Okay, so it's not completely clear. And actually, taking the queen's not the best move. Knight at e4 would be the strongest move. King e2 and then take the queen. So that's the point. You drive the king to either the back rank or up here, where then take the queen with check. Very important intermezzo move. Okay, so this is a very nice move. And then he gives a check, pawn again, rook here, and this is checkmate because king here, queen here is checkmate. I shouldn't have the engine on. I actually saw a slower mate myself without the engine, which was this. Oh no, and it's not quite mate because there's takes, but it's going to be mate very soon. Okay, but that went by. That took longer than I needed to, and we see another Sicilian, and so the same themes are going to be repeated of weaknesses here and on the dark squares here. And let's check the Twitch chat. Gingerbread says, Lichess is such a pure site. Check first before you take the queen, says Gingerbread. Yeah, brilliant, really brilliant. So we learned something really good. Because it's just be second nature just to take the queen immediately, and it's just no. You want, if you can push the king so that it's checked, then it's so much stronger. So mastertan is thinking. So just to go back, what's he thinking of? I think he's thinking of this because if there's a queen sack, not a queen sack, but a queen exchange, obviously you could never take. It'd be risky. It's not that you never, but it'd be risky always to take that knight, the final knight. So if queen takes pawn, queen takes, knight takes, you're still fine. King takes, this is defended. Black doesn't have any knights in hand. But okay, so what we're going to see is just slow defense. Oh, that's actually a nice move because the knight's hit. Okay, so I'm expecting actually this just to defend the knight. So and the point is, if black takes, you're slowly improving your position, and if black doesn't take, then he's wasting a move moving the queen away. My opinion of the Sicilian ZH is that it's trash. And if you want to see examples, and it's something which people play when they're tilted. So 12teen has played the Sicilian when he's tilted against Oppa, for example, and the results are not good. I mean, so having said that, a top 10 player will beat me playing the Sicilian, but but also like a player like Oppa will completely positionally crush someone who plays a Sicilian because the opening you're giving a target. You're giving a target basically. That's the problem. So he saves his piece, does mastertan, because the knight was forked. So just withdraw it. So okay, a little bit of pressure. Like this is looking. And then the other problem is because you're trying to avoid opening theory. I've done it myself. You try and do these openings where you fianchetto your bishops and you kind of have all your pieces inside the first three ranks, and these openings also just don't work for black because you just get compressed because white takes 5 of the 8 ranks and it has so much space to maneuver. So it's quite difficult. You want to find openings that that give you at least some kind of counterplay. Yeah, and finding such openings as black is a huge challenge. I'm going to have to. I mean, so as white, to be honest, I don't normally prepare openings at all. But as white, I just normally play d4, and you get a playable position unless you're playing someone very good, like J.K. the Bullfrog, who might beat you from the opening. But against most players, you just get a playable position, and then you can enjoy. But as black, it is a struggle. But you risk just being beaten straight out of the opening. Okay, here simply takes is forced. Notice what he just checks is, are there any checks? No checks. Okay, I'll just take it then. And well, okay, that was a quick resign. So something should be said about Crazyhouse is never resign. You can be completely losing and have a wonderful comeback mate, as we saw yesterday in variance only. In variance only's match, he was beaten by Andre Casanova. I'll show the mate at the end of the stream. Because I didn't stream that match. And well, Variant's only had all the pieces in the world, but you know, 2 queens, a rook, 3 of the 4 rooks altogether. So, but Andre Casanova, just throwing pawns about, managed to swindle the mate in 2, mate in 3. Yeah. So okay, so this is interesting. So the Cube of Reasons just has gone for this bishop takes h7 sack. It's and it's uncomfortable, but the point is, at some point you're going to try and chase the knight away, clear away the pawn, get your rook over and castle. That's going to be the plan. There's no real prospect of a counterattack. This is quite a defensive setup from black. He hasn't got a bishop, you know, eyeing some counterattack on f2. So it's going to be definitely something very defensive. This is a free pawn. Because I was thinking bishop at f4 is an idea for black at some point, maybe. Was queen takes b2 after at h6 really scary? Yeah, queen takes b2. It's scary as long as there isn't a mate. So, okay, so it's not scary as in you can always defend, just put your rook on d1. But yeah, you're right, it would be slightly scary unless there's a mate. And this won't be the last game because it's a best of 10, so you need 6 games to guarantee victory. So what we've seen the last... So this is the problem with this, you've just given away a pawn, so you've just given... Black could even replace this pawn here next move. He's opened up a file, so what? Okay, and he did just replace the pawn there. Takes, okay. Takes a knight. Okay, so mastertan being a bit greedy, just going for material and just saying, you actually don't have any material in hand to hurt me right now. Okay, now this is... Okay, this is good play. So he's letting his opponent attack him. He's giving him a... This is good play. You've got to make sure you don't give the opponent the piece that mates you. So, for example, what would be a mating idea for white in this position? It would be at some point taking this pawn, sorry, and going and having the rook defend this pawn and knight at g6 mate. So that's the kind of... You have to think, what's the mating net that you're aiming for? And that would be the sort of thing that white would have to aim for in this position. So notice how black doesn't move this knight, because the knight is blocking the file, and if ever white takes, he's going to take back with a piece defending. Real weakness in black's position, by the way, is g7. So at h6, g7 ideas are a real problem that black needs to be careful about. But for now, it's just... Well, okay, so black found a very nice move, which is simply forking this pawn. So you can just pick up this pawn for free. And the question he's thinking is, do I want it with the knight or with the bishop? So if the bishop takes, and then... so he's thinking something else. That seems interesting and rather counterintuitive. He doesn't want to give away the knight. He's going quite materialistic. And again, you have to try and think what a danger. Yeah, knight takes h7 looks like a fairly nasty threat. So if you just grab the bishop, for example, feels uncomfortable at the very least. Knight takes h7 even straight away, what would happen then? Knight takes h7, you have to take it, queen takes, and you're threatening this checkmate straight away. I don't know, I think mastertan's given too much in this game. I'll take a look at that queen takes b2 in the last game, in a break. Yeah. So rook, yeah, he plays a little bit more cautiously with rook f3. I don't know. I'm not sure I like what mastertan's done here. Because he has a lot of... This is an issue. And the knight was actually quite good because it was defending that temporarily. Even though it was under attack, it gave you a move, like a move to breathe. So what mastertan... He must be trying to plan some kind of mate. And the mate he's planning is some kind of rook at g1, knight f2, that kind of mate. Yeah, if he could have got the rook anywhere like this, then he had sort of ideas, knight f2, king here, discover checks ideas. Can't see exactly where they were. Okay, so he's just going for a promotion. He's trying to block off this thing and just trying to promote. Afgala says knight takes h7 is too slow. That's true. So knight takes 7 is check though, so it's not that slow. So you have to take it. Queen takes, then pawn takes rook, rook takes, I think you're right. Yeah, so you're right. You're right. It's too slow because rook takes, then rook at g1 takes, knight at f2, checkmate. I think you're right. Yes. Okay. Did I miss something? Yeah, you're right. Knight takes a7, rook takes. There's nothing quite fast enough. This rook at, yeah, the threat is rook at g1. You're absolutely right. So the cube of reason is now under a bit of time pressure, and the threat is this, basically this promotion. That's a good move, actually. So you're reinforcing this pawn. You're actually stopping this as well. It's a difficult position. So he blocks the fact. Okay, again, I think I like this move at h6. I'm not saying it works, but I'm saying it's the kind of move that you need in this position to get in on the dark squares in black's position. It's definitely uncomfortable. I mean, if ooh, yeah, it's a nice response, keeping the defense on g7. Takes. Okay, so he's trying to claim white doesn't have enough. Yeah, he doesn't. Queen takes bishop, bishop takes, and he flags as well. That was a tight game. So while they're just contemplating the rematch offer, I just want to quickly have a look at queen takes b2 instead of resign. Oh, you're saying queen takes b2 here? Ah, yes, I hadn't thought of that. So probably just rook d1, everything's secure. What I just want to check is what if black does? Oh, yeah. So the problem here, white has a queen in hand, so this is just impossible. It's impossible to stop this threat, and if you ever take this pawn, you're getting mated. If you've done queen takes b2, yeah, it is a slightly faster attack. Just probably rook d1 would be fine. It's saying even just takes here, threaten mate, it also works. That's obviously risky. There's no need for that. Just castles even, apparently, in that position. Okay, so we got one game to go. But the Cube of Reason, is he still online? He's still online. Okay, let's have a quick look at that game. I don't know, it's quite... So in this position, I'd have definitely just grabbed material. But C takes b2 apparently was the engine choice in that position. Okay, so that was interesting. Then queen here, pawn here. Yeah, I'll just show the line that F. Gala pointed out. You've got no time for this, because of takes, rook here check, takes, and knight here checkmate. So really good spot there from F. Gala. So there was just queen takes pawn, apparently, yeah. Although black is still winning. It's a way of just deflecting the queen from that dangerous square. If black does nothing, by the way, then knight takes h7 is really strong. So this just really shows how Crazyhouse can swing on one move. If you just do nothing for one move. So the problem is this is a threat. Maybe you take this, and I was thinking some kind of discovery with the bishop, but queen f5 check. Maybe we block. At g6, king f8. Okay, so we create a back rank situation here, and takes, and now we have a pawn and a knight in hand. And I guess you go pawn here. If he goes here, knight here is checkmate, so you just go here, and you get another queen, and then he blocks again, and then check, king here, queen takes rook. I'm not doing the best. I'm not doing the best mate here, am I? But it works. Let's see. Did I go wrong somewhere? At f7 apparently is stronger. Okay, interesting. Okay, so they have started So that's why I'm just showing you how you just make one duff move and you get completely run over in this game. So it shows how important timing is. So this is probably the last game. And we have another Sicilian, e4, c5, game 6. And notice what white's done. He's just maneuvered his knight to target this c7 square. He's straight up threatening at c7, takes the queen, win a queen for a pawn. So we've got some strong people in chat. Fgala, Kramka, Legion Destroyer, Highest Cliff, and IMGSVC, and Mugwort. Ah, Mugwort might be streaming this. I'll just see if he is. Mugwort is not streaming, but okay. So this is the exclusive stream. So in this kind of position, I've seen players just go at c7, and that's how bad c5 is. You're just having to replace that pawn later in the game. Jesse says, mastertan is scary. I see his opponents often not making it to the end of the match. And Mugwort says, I only accidentally stumbled on the match 5 minutes ago, and I don't know how you do it. Because he was complaining how, oh, Light resigned already? Yeah, Mugwort was complaining he didn't manage to stream many matches yet. But I just managed to catch mastertan live on the Discord saying, I'm playing now, and so I kind of dropped what I was doing and did a quick stream. Okay, and so before I leave, I just want to show you that I set up a study for the Crazyhouse World Championship. It's only got one chapter so far. It was a really good one. Variance only won his match 6-1 against Andre Casanova, but there was a very... Andre Casanova was desperately dropping pawns around White's king to try and create some weaknesses, and his final attempt was at h4, and he stumbled into a mate, because Variance only played rook takes h4. Rook takes h4. Yeah, Mugwort streamed a couple of matches, so do check out his YouTube. And can you see the mate for black in this position? It's a practice computer study. There are in fact two different mates, a mate in 2 and a mate in 3. What was played in the game was knight at e2 check, and the beauty of this is if the king goes up, it's completely trapped. Knight f2 is completely checkmate. It's just checkmate. But this isn't much better, and this is in fact exactly what happened in the game. Sick mate with these two knights, just controlling all these squares. It just turns out that h4 is the one square these knights can't control, and at h4, rook takes h4 blocks off the king's escape. So just king takes h4, any other move, white was completely fine. Turns out there's also a mate in 2 in this position, which is even nicer. Just straight up knight at f1, blocking off the king's escape route. Completely sick mate. So Happiness Bunny says, add my game 3 against London Man. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'll just add you, that's a much better way of doing it, as a contributor to this study, and you help me add in the game or add in the position. Now, maybe I'll give you one other quick update, and I'm going to make you a contributor to the study. And this is to everyone else here and anyone else watching. If you see a nice position in the CWC, please, please, please help me add to the study, because it's otherwise a huge amount of work for one person to try and collect stuff. So, GSVC, are you on this study? Let's add you as well. So you don't have to, but the thing is, if everyone does it a little bit, it just will make it a lot easier to collect nice positions. Okay, so it'll be mastertan against Variant Bunny, I think, in round 2. So, yeah, GSVC says, this knight f1 first is nicer, and I did not see that one. Saves a pawn and one move. Yeah, indeed, it's completely amazing. So yeah, do please add that Variant Bunny to the study. I would really appreciate it. And there's one other thing I want to show you. So how do you add stuff to studies? You click this button and click study inside a game. And there's one other thing I want to show you, which is I just on the zhchess.blogspot. I'll just leave you the link in the Twitch chat to my blog. There's a What is Crazyhouse? Guide to Crazyhouse for Beginners. There's Crazyhouse World Championships, which was about the 2018 World Championships, not yet about 2020. But there's just updated today this index of studies, which has practice against computer studies, where you can practice your mating technique against the computer in this practice against computer studies. And then you have all these solution studies. If someone's challenging me, I can't play games right now. I've got going to a meeting in 15 minutes. In particular, this is the link to the current Crazyhouse World Championship marked in bold. And then one thing just to people might also like is how to make Crazyhouse studies on lichess. If you want tips, then that's just a video I did some time back on how to make studies on lichess. But basically, the easiest thing to do is you take a position and you look for the fen of the position, and then you go add a new chapter and you click on fen and paste in the fen. Or you go if you want to add the whole game, you go PGN, add the whole game. Or within the game, you click on this and click on fen. Okay, so that's it. I think I'm going to be playing my match in the CWC tomorrow night, but it's not confirmed yet. So see you all next time. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll just finish off by leaving the link to my YouTube where this video will appear and where you can find loads and loads of playlists on everything. Okay, bye guys.